Hey Frac crew, we're going to be cooking up an awesome dish today. Today we're going to be making a peppered beef tip with red wine. Guys, this is a dish that my mom would make when I was a younger kid, but guess what? I'm elevating this dish to make it my own dish. And how I'm going to make it my own? I'm adding the red wine, and we're also using these Wagyu beef tips from Cowboy Wagyu. I've never had these before, but I can guarantee you it's going to be delicious on a bed of mashed potatoes. So let's go in there and get this video started. Alright y'all, I'm going to show you what all we have. Here we have 2 pounds of Wagyu beef tips from Cowboy Wagyu, 3 cloves of garlic chopped up, 1 small yellow onion. Then we have a bag of flour that we're going to toss our meat in. Then we have some better than beef bouillon. Then over here we have a bottle of 19 Crimes red wine, which we're not going to use all the wine. To start this dish off, we're going to take your beef tips, we're going to put them in our flour, and we're going to shake them up, and we're going to coat them all with some flour. Now you're going to ask probably how much flour. Just use enough flour to where you can put it in there and you can shake it all up and coat all your meat. Now we get to come to the fun part. We got to shake up our meat. And this honestly makes it a lot easier for cleanup as well, because you ain't going to get flour everywhere.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, that's right. Alright, we're going to add some oil to our pot. And what we're going to do is we're going to toast or fry up these pieces of meat, brown them up. And we're just using some plain old HEB extra virgin olive oil. Alright, now we're going to take about half of our meat, we're going to put it in here, and we're going to brown it up. So the reason why I coated these beef tips is when we go to make our gravy, the liquid that we're going to have in there is going to thicken up to cover over the mashed potatoes. Oh my gosh, it's going to be so delicious, because that's how Mom did it. About 2 minutes in, I gave it a flip, and as you can see, we have a beautiful crust on these beef tips, and this is going to add another layer of flavor. Now that our beef is done, I'm going to throw my onions in and I'm going to start sauteing those. Now we're just going to add a little bit of salt to our onions. Put your garlic in last because you do not want it to burn. And when you start smelling the really strong aroma of garlic, you know you're at the point to add your liquid. Now you're going to take your beef tips, put everything back into the pot. Make sure you get all the liquid and everything that might be left in there, because that is flavor. Mix this all up. And then we're going to season our beef. Come back with some kosher salt. Not a lot, just a little to start off with. Garlic powder and some onion powder. And we can't forget the pepper. Now this is a coarse black pepper. It ain't called peppered beef tips for nothing, right babe?
Right.
Alright, we're going to come back with 2 cups of water to start off with, to see how that gets us. Alright, that's perfect. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to scrape the bottom to get everything off of the bottom. Alright, now we're going to add 1 cup of our red wine. And like they always say, use a red wine that you would drink yourself. I feel like red wine just elevates beef to the next level. You're going to want to add 2 teaspoons of your better than beef bouillon. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it to a simmer, and I'm going to put a lid on it, and I'm thinking this should take between an hour and an hour and a half. But you want to make it to where it is fork tender. You don't want it just shredding apart. You want it fork tender so you can put it over a bed of mashed potatoes. Okay, so before I show you these beef tips, I'm going to tell you about these mashed potatoes. They ain't no ordinary mashed potatoes. So these are Yukon Gold potatoes. I'm adding a half a stick of Kerrygold butter because this stuff is amazing. So I'm going to mash these up with this potato meat masher. This thing works good. So we're going to go with kind of a rustic kind of mashed potato, right babe?
Oh yeah.
I think this would just be perfect with this dish. We added in a splash of whole milk. Add as much milk or as little milk as you would like. Now to make these mashed potatoes even better, we got about a 1/4 pound of smoked Gouda that's going to go into our potatoes. No, this is going to be delicious. Now when it comes to your mashed potatoes, you do you. You can add a little bit of salt, you can add a little pepper, or you can add garlic with what you want. But I'm going to taste these and I'm going to see how much salt we need to add since we added cheese. Here are these beautiful beef tips that have been cooking for about an hour and a half like we said. Look how beautiful that looks. Now let's get some of these mashed potatoes and serve you guys up a plate. Now I'll tell you what, this isn't your ordinary beef tips that my mom made, but I tell you what, this looks pretty darn tasty. Like Melissa even said, guys, look how rich this dish is. Let's get us a little bite. Now it's gonna be hot, but I'm gonna sacrifice this for y'all. Wow. Definitely not like my mom's. I would say this is knocked out of the park. That Wagyu beef just adds such a different kind of flavor and texture. That red wine, the creamy mashed potatoes with that smoked Gouda is absolutely amazing. And we can't forget that red wine. Guys, this is honestly a very comforting meal that Melissa and I have been looking forward to for a couple days since we lost our power during the great blizzard of 2021 in Texas. Man, I tell you what, I just want to say thank you to Cowboy Wagyu for sending out these beef tips to us, and also take a look at this great cup that we got from them. So guys, if you're looking for some awesome beef, go check out Cowboy Wagyu, and in the checkout, you put CW10, you're going to get a 10% discount. So go check them out, go get some great beef. And until our next video, you guys stay warm, stay safe, and we'll see you in the next video.